found this new duck spot for ice out ducks, and it was perfect because that's a tundra swan, but it was going to be perfect because there was like a little 20-foot or 20-yard area of open water because there was still ice on the lake, but now the ice has gone out in the last 5 days. I was waiting for some good weather, some sunny weather, but we'll still plop down and see what we can get. It is April 16th. Belted Kingfisher. 27 degrees. All right, gonna go into the netting now. And if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm gonna share some of my favorite photos from the day, well, the hour and a half that I was here. I took mostly video, but I did get some fun photos as well. I should have been here an hour ago, literally. But I'm considering this scouting experience, and oh, hold on, here comes some. Of course, this is a male. Belted kingfishers are one of the few birds in which the male is less colorful than the female. She's the one with that orange breast band. Okay, everything's kind of popping off right now. I got a Pied-billed Grebe over here, so I'm gonna get back to work. I only got about an hour of decent light left, maybe a half hour. All right, I'll tell you more later. Note its banded thick bill. They use that bill to catch crayfish and fish of all kinds, frogs maybe, aquatic insects, but they are not very good flyers. I don't know if I've ever seen one in flight, but they are excellent swimmers and divers. In fact, they can trap water in their feathers and control how high they ride in the water, sometimes just their head sticking out of the water. This camo netting I use is certainly a compromise. You can see me through it, but birds don't seem to totally recognize me as a human. Yes, it would be better if it was a more opaque camouflage netting, but then I couldn't see anything. And the most important thing for me is being able to see the birds in the wildlife. I can even use binoculars to look through the netting, and that's what I like. Oh my gosh. I just had a male and female mated pair of wood ducks swim right up to me. Literally, the closest I got was, I would say 12 feet, maybe less. I mean, I couldn't even get the whole duck in the frame. But, you know, it was one of those situations like, what do I do? What do I do? And he was very intent on her, so I was able to slip the camera off the tripod and do some, you know, had to shoot handheld because if I had to readjust the tripod and swing it around, it wouldn't have been good. So I wouldn't have got what I got. And while wood ducks don't have as an elaborate courtship display set as other ducks, like maybe mergansers, they do have some interesting ones. Here you can see ritualized preening behind the wing. It's usually the wing facing the female. And here, this drinking, this is a ritualized drinking, and it always precedes the quick head shake and preening behind the wing. And here's another move. It's called the rush, for obvious reasons. The male kind of rushes towards the female with his bill open. It's kind of at the intense part of courtship, partly aggressive, partly sexy, right? Yeah. So, yeah, fun to watch this behavior. If you were just sitting there without any camouflage, you just would not encounter this. Wood ducks are so spooky, would have been gone in a second. Oh, and he's got one more little part of his performance for the female, where he kind of lifts his wings, shows those white feathers underneath the wings, and points his bill straight out. I don't know what that one's called, but it's kind of cool. Good job, buddy. There's 3 or 4 swans swimming this way. Of course, everything happens at once. That's what wildlife photography is. Long periods of boredom interrupted by short periods of chaos. The courtship flights of the swans. And while I was sitting there enjoying the Trumpeter Swans show, I heard a broad-winged hawk, and I'm like, April 16th? That's a little early for a broad-wing. And then I realized, yeah, it's a blue jay doing his almost perfect imitation of the pitty call of a broad-winged hawk. Then he expanded his repertoire and gave this call. Which is kind of reminiscent of a bald eagle. It's the only thing I can think of. But yes, blue jays are excellent mimics. I've been messing with my settings a lot because shooting into the sun, I often like the white balance set to shade. Definitely gives it some pop, shows that warmth of sunrise. I have my autofocus set to eye detect, but oftentimes some of these critters are too far out, and so I have to save it, to spot focus. And normally I would take my strap off my camera. This one doesn't have the quick release buckles. Got to take care of that. And then the handle, I left it on this time and it always gets in the way. So you probably should just take that off and you can rotate it with your camera. Loosen up all the knobs on the tripod so it's stable, but you can move it by spinning your camera. But I do have my coffee. Always good to have your coffee. All right, well, the light's getting super hot. I think I'm gonna bag it. Looks like I'm busy packing up here, but I'll share with you my favorite photos from the day. And I shot mostly video, to be honest, but I did get some kind of cool atmospheric shots of these trumpeter swans, and I like how that white birch tree kind of complements the white of the birds. I'm shooting through alders, and that's what that kind of yellowish orangish blobs are in the foreground, but I kind of like it. This one I tried cropping both horizontal and vertical, And I really like the vertical one here better. I like the wavy reflection and the kind of the gold color in the water. And notice the front swan, that little puff of breath, backlit. Love it. Now, the remainder of these, you might be a little surprised, are all single frames I pulled out of the 8K or 4K footage. So, yes, you're shooting at quite slow shutter speeds when you're shooting video, but you can do it. If you're just putting them on social media or in a YouTube video, it's fine. Anyway, wood ducks were so close. No, not razor sharp, but yeah, kind of nice. And I kind of like this one shooting through the alder. A pair of mallards. You know, it works for critters who have distinctive silhouettes. And I warmed it up a bit in post. And this was that crazy backlit swan coming in for a landing. Its face is a little covered up there, but yeah, like I said, good enough for Instagram. Well, I think this spot is a winner. We'll definitely be back. A really good duck spot. Could be really fun when the ice, like it was 5 days ago, pulling away from the shore, but there's still most of the lake frozen over and forced the ducks in that little area. But wow, I think I got some really fun stuff. Wood ducks 15 feet away. Pied-billed Grebe. Got them shaking the water off. You know, it's set conundrum. That would have been an awesome photo, and it would have been awesome slow motion video, but I had it set on what I call C3, so 8K video. But hey, can't complain. Blue jay imitating broad-winged hawk. That was pretty neat. Yeah, good stuff. Oh, and the kingfisher. Kingfisher, 20 yards away. It's fun. So maybe next spring or when it's duck season, try some of these techniques. You get a $20 piece of camo netting, Crazy Creek type camp chair, and you're set. Oh, and your coffee too. Don't forget your coffee. I'll even be home in time for my 9 a.m. meeting. That's pretty nice. Oh, well, wait. Is that nice? Well, I'm gonna make it anyway. 10-minute walk, 15-minute drive, and I'm home. Well, I almost made it home. I got a little distracted by these yellow-bellied sapsuckers. Just returned to the north. This cavity looks pretty nice. It looks pretty fresh, but pretty early to be excavating, so I'm going to just keep an eye on it. Maybe they're going to nest there, but probably last year's cavity. Interesting. There's 3 nest cavities here in the snag. Maybe they'll use this tree again. Must be a favorite. All right, until next time, shooting with Sparky, take care. Have a good week. Enjoy those ice out ducks.